very specifically in this White Wolf Forestcraft deck, I feel like not playing the One of Loki is actually just hampering your ability to win some games, because it allows you to win before turn 10, first of all. It allows you to win on turn 9. We haven't seen it be necessary just yet for the Forestcraft decks to be playing against, but realistically they're playing against Vengeance Blood, and that damages itself for you and things like that. Or Neutral Runecraft, where it's so slow that your early game does have a chance to ping a bunch of damage all the way through into the late game. So we'll see, though. We'll see.
We'll see.
Here
it comes. The bans are going to be both. They're going to both be Daria.
And it looks like the mirror match is not happening just yet. I like it. If you expect your opponent to play Shadowcraft first, I really feel like not tossing the coin and playing Shadowcraft into it is probably the best option. Especially because I believe that the Forestcraft decks do have a good game plan against the Shadowcraft decks, especially of today, because the White Wolf package can actually just beat you before Aisha becomes a thing.
Yeah. DV8 versus LECA. Alright, in terms of the early hands here, a lot of the Shadowcraft decks are actually just opting out of the 1-drops. Don't see too many goblins. Actually, I think just the decks in general.
Yeah, everything's just slower. I'm still a fan of Goblin. I like aggressive game plans. I think it makes Prince Catacomb a lot better. A lot of players just opting for more value-oriented cards, which is fine. It just means that they're forced to win in the later game more often than not. And as you can see, it's kind of like 50-50 with them. Do they have the Aisha? Do they not? Have they gotten their opponent to 10? Have they not? Like, you know what I mean? It's very wishy-washy these days without playing the more aggressive game plan.
All right. Skull Ring is up.
Always a good option, but playing it into Wood of Brambles never feels good. This is what we're talking about.
Strength of Forest, especially today, when everybody else is playing Forest and Shadow. There's just so many low health followers that Wood of Brambles can make bank off of.
So much use out of this card.
Easy peasy.
Easy. I'll tell you one card that's not going anywhere when the rotation hits, and that's Wood of Brambles. That is scary. And Airbound Barrage, all those cards are staying. I can't wait for Forestcraft to be like top tier meta again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You feel it brewing coming.
Oh yeah.
I mean, Aggro Forest kind of at the tail end of Starforged Legends was really phenomenal.
It was good, yeah. That's true.
It was a combination of the roaches and things like the Fairy Driver, and just the amount of damage you could get from cards on board.
The funny thing about this format is I feel like it actually did a full circle. Like, so this White Wolf Forestcraft deck, Daria and Shadowcraft were all decent, and what many considered to be the best decks when the format first came around. And then Dragoncraft got found out, you know, and then there were some other things that happened, and then Neutral kind of took over for Forestcraft and all this other stuff. And here we are. It's like we didn't even leave day one of the expansion coming out.
I do think that the players are starting to run around in circles in tournament play, especially. They're thinking, but again, it is that curiosity of everybody sitting in the boardroom, right?
Yeah.
And just deciding that it's what they're going to do. When you get too deep into the mind games, though, I can kind of understand.
Yeah.
But
I feel like it's got to happen. Every big tournament, they all turn out with the same decks. It's almost card for card in some instances.
Yeah.
It's just crazy to me to think that all these players individually, I know that's like teammates, that would make sense if all the teammates had the same list.
Yeah.
But of differing teams all come up with the same decks to play on the same day. You know what I mean? It's very counterintuitive to me as to how that happens.
They're sending us a message, Exo. We just haven't picked it up.
That's true. They're like, yeah, you were right this whole time, but you're just not invited to those meetings. That's why we got to sit here and try to figure them out.
No bully.
That's right.
It's okay. You can bully me. I deserve it.
Rainey's a super nice guy, and you should never bully him.
False.
False. The end. False.
I
am
sit
the
at
worst.
home. I act grumpy.
Yeah.
I watch TV shows and play video games all day long.
That's what everybody that is listening to us talk right now does. That is what they are literally doing right now. They are playing video games and watching shows. And in this case, it is a show about a video game.
Wow. So meta.
That's right. That's right. I'm getting into your heads.
Yep. Okay, Wood of Brambles is still a thing, but Lyra will kind of sidestep a bit of it. Takes a chunk of damage on the backswing here for it. But
it's more than okay. Getting all these free value trades off all these mini Ceres effects, you know, with the Wood of Brambles off the table is always good.
Okay, we're getting to the point where you can play Venus and then put down the Harvest Festival and a Fairy and start just drawing.
Yeah, I'm interested as to know why he didn't go with the Venus this turn. I don't think the board was scary enough for him to kind of like eschew that card drawing option, but he can start with it next turn. Not a big deal.
Let's play.
But emptying his hand of fairies before he plays the Venus, kind of weird to me.
Can still do it with the Brambles. Venus Brambles Festival.
But be able to do it all next turn. I choose, like, it's the same thought for me with Shadowcraft when I'm playing it. Like, Andriolphus always gets an Evo. I always need to be drawing cards. It's the same thing with Venus when I'm playing the Forestcraft deck. So you just get the Venus down, you start drawing your cards immediately, because the longer you wait, the harder it's going to be to actually exact that game plan.
Yeah.
Dance,
Yeah, the game state changes.
Yeah, especially now. Like, now it's a much harder board for Venus to just come down. Doesn't have the protection of the Brambles anymore.
Yeah. If you do put down the Venus, you... Well, almost any situation here, you just take the potential damage of Ector.
Yeah.
You're
Gonna have to evolve here.
Okay, so you have to go for the Necro Assassin.
Yep. 100%.
Which means 4,
So quiet.
potentially 8 damage if Ector is off the
Oh,
top here.
that draw was gross. The Elf Queens, though. We're already at 12 shadows. That's already a full heal at the current state of the game. That also means, you know what? Elf Queen, even against Shadowcraft, right? They get you to the 10. They start playing this control game plan. You're like, I'm at 20 again.
So sad.
Yeah, it's a good thing you play the early game because it's all been erased.
Yeah.
Has to deal with his board first, though. This is a tough board.
Interesting.
Let's see. Cassiopeia can do 6 damage spread across. That's not terrible, but again, not good enough.
Yeah. It's going to allow potentially a free trade from the Venus.
Actually, I think it might be the best play. I think you jam the Venus into the Prince Catacomb, and then you play the Cassiopeia, hope for the best.
Yeah, to make sure there's no Ector play remaining.
Because if you don't clear off as many of these followers as you possibly can this turn, and you just go with an Aaron, a lot more suspect to me.
You definitely want to set yourself up so that the board is not scary, so that the Elf Queen does not immediately get traded back with whatever is left on the board.
Right.
Oh.
Okay.
This means you can only take down 2 cards at the most, which means that the 2, 2, and 1 will be remaining. And the 1. 2, 2, 1, 1. 2, 4, 5,
Oh, wow.
6.
Went face with that attack.
Okay, not quite lethal here with the Ector drop, and you have a very big board, so...
Yeah, I kind of like this. This was a completely different play than I was thinking of. This is a tempo play as opposed to a control play here. This does mean, though, that he's putting himself into a weird position coming to the late game.
16 potential damage if Ector comes down, but you can't clear board. You don't get any zombies. You can do something, I suppose, where you swing your Catacomb into something and then play the Ector.
That would give you the most value. It will allow you to trade with 2 things. And honestly, on turn 9, without a White Wolf being played, there's no OTK type of thing that's going to happen next turn from LECA. OTK, of course, meaning 1-turn kill for those of you new to the terminology.
Okay. So you can go for the board clear option here, especially with Zombie Party.
Yeah, I could do it too.
Well, Skeleton is basically not useful, right? Because it can't board trade.
No, right, it cannot. Wood of Bramble still in play. That clash effect works on both attack and defense here.
So maybe you have to leave the fairy behind. Okay, just chooses to go for efficiency, I suppose.
Now plays the Ektar without popping any of the Prince Catacomb tokens. Interesting. Alright, so just planning on getting as much damage in as he can.
The upgrade was big, but takes another 8. And so just 2 damage away from the Aisha activating again. But
right.
White Wolf can come down now.
It can, but White Wolf's a scary play. White Wolf will be able to clear a 3-3, leave behind a 1-1.
6.
7 plus 6 is lethal with another Ektar. So White Wolf, I don't feel like is a safe enough play this turn.
Interesting. Interesting. You have 2 sources of ward here. You have the Aaron and the Jungle Warden, and I would assume that the Aaron might be the better choice.
I think you Aaron evolve over the Ektar this turn, then you can Jungle Warden and kind of just protect yourself for the next couple turns. And you already have a king elephant in which makes the play of the fairy here a little awkward.
Yeah. You want to maintain cards in hand.
Especially with cards like Harvest Festival, just in case you did want to draw cards at some point.
Zombie Party looks really good.
Zombie Party looks amazing. Looks really, really, really good.
So many things that... Now, when we're at 10 play points, it could be a 2-turn where it's like Jungle Warden and then Elephant, and that could just end things.
Well, we're going to see if getting that fairy out of hand will still allow for that lethal.
Yeah.
With other followers still remaining in play, it's definitely possible. But I think that DV8's probably going to clear off as best he can here.
I think Jungle Warden into Elephant over 2 turns is so tough.
It is tough.
Talk about like Zeus being aggressive and then defensive. Jungle Warden is like that, except you get 2 different sources of ward.
Yeah. Jungle Warden's still great. I mean, when you can hit that on 10, I mean, that's 8 damage plus 2 4/5s with ward to defend yourself. It's very strong.
The Jungle Warden into the Elephant thing is really interesting too, because you profit 1 card in hand for the Elephant calculation, right? So we'll see if that plays out. Still has the options of Zombie Party here.
Decides he wants to Bellinus over one of the other 2/2 options.
Okay. Oh, wow.
And this has to be a Jungle Warden.
I feel like that's the only thing you can do, right? So if you Jungle Warden, it's going to be 10 defense that DV8 has to push through. But we'll build up the shadows for the Aisha, so...
Well, let's see here. So trade into 1. If you get the nice hit on the Bellinus, that could be 1. It doesn't even matter.
Yeah, there's no way. It's just too much defense.
No. I mean, I think he can fight through it right here. I think, actually, now that I count it, I think he does have to get the right hit on the Bellinus for it to work, right?
I believe so, yeah.
So if you go 3/3 and 2/2 into 1, you get the perfect ping. Then you can jam the other 2 zombies into it. Then you have the 1 left over plus the Aisha. And I think he's going to go for it. That's his best bet. Does he get it? He does!
Oh my god!
It's exactly what he needed, and that's going to be a game.
Woo! Oh my god. Was there a safer way to do that?
I think that was the best way to do it.
If you threw your Bellinus into one of the Jungle Wardens first, then you have
the most information first.
Yeah. So I think it was safer actually to throw the Bellinus in first.
Just to see where it went, yes.
And especially because then it's 2 of 3, right? So you have a 66% chance of having the Bellinus hit the right target.
But realistically, you know you're probably dead next turn anyway, so it has to work. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. That was a really good play. DV8 just managed to get there.
Oh my
And I think
god.
that was off the back of LECA just being more tempo-oriented instead of just being the more control-y player. He had the Elf Queen. He didn't need to bust it out that early. He could have done a lot more work with it and just played a little bit more defensively and won with the combo, but felt like he didn't have the time.
Very scary.
Yeah.
Very scary. That's a big win that DV8 got off the Shadowcraft list. This might change the dynamic of this match.
That was huge. Because now he only has to win 1 game against the deck that we just saw. You know, Shadowcraft versus Forestcraft right now is kind of 50-50 to me. Which means that pretty much all of these matchups are 50-50. You know what I mean? Like, all the decks kind of play well against each other. But yeah, having 2 chances to win with the Forestcraft deck put you firmly ahead in this matchup for sure.
All right. Passing turns back and forth, and now how the tables have turned.
Yep.
DV8's the one that's going to be running. It'll be interesting. I mean, really, I feel like the 2 big teams here, right, are Disaster and CPV. Disaster has 3 members in the playoffs. CPV has 2.
Yep.
Mana Surge, Mana Glow.
Yep, Mana Surge has 1. Yeah, that's about it. And, well, I guess Trickster had the DB tag on today, didn't he? The Dawnbreaker
Trickster?
tag?
Oh, is that right?
I think. Yeah, the Dawnbreak.
Dawnbreakers.
I believe we have a bunch of different teams available for us here today to see who can win. But yeah, like you said, Disaster and CPV have been kind of the strongest 2 teams going into this tournament for sure.
This is a match. This could put CPV 2-0 against Disaster if LECA takes the win here.
Yep. And then they'll have to team kill each other one way or another, and the
Yeah.
losers are out of the tournament.
The real sadness.
Yeah. Never feels good to be pitted against your teammate before you get to the finals. That's always the hope. You go into any tournament, whether it be online or live, right? And you're just like, all right. We're going to take this down. And we're not going to meet until the finals, and we're going to have this epic journey. And then it's like round 2, you play against your friend, and you're like, I want to go home.
This never feels good. Is there the warrior spirit amongst your team members of the honorable loss?
Yeah, of course, always. Yeah, because you always want your team to win, so if you lose, it means your teammate's winning, they have a better chance to win, so it's always good. But it just stinks, right? You never want to travel or play in a big event and then play against the person that you traveled there with, or something like that.
It's gonna make the return trip real bad.
You're like, yeah, won that event. Your friend's like,
the best is if
happy
you
for you, but
if you knock your friend out and then you lose the next round.
Oh God, don't even talk about that. Okay, that's like worst nightmare status right there.
The vengeful spirit arises.
Yeah, especially if your friend's like deck would have like beaten that person's deck or your lineup or something
Yeah.
like that. And you're just like, why did you knock me down?
Why have you done this to me? All right, show them the power of Wood of Brambles.
Yet again against Shadowcraft. Very effective, and again works on defense. So trading into these followers very hard as well.
Man, has another one in the pocket too.
Lyriel, an amazing card to get off of Skull Ring, by the way.
Things going well for both players here. DV8 has another Wood of Brambles that will continue the board control game plan and also fill up for the multiple Cassiopeias that are available.
Which is great. Has an Elf Queen just to sustain, but there are no combo cards yet. Does have a Jungle Warden.
Wings are killing me. I'm gonna rest for a bit. Did you want
That is it for the late game so far.
Oh, another PR to see.
Ooh, what did he overdraw? This is an important deck to know what you overdraw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think DV8's expression changed.
Yeah, so it's probably okay. Probably okay.
No.
Allergic Corpse doing its best board clear thing.
Yeah.
I really like that play. Just like it stops so much. So much.
It does. It's, yeah, the ordering in Shadowverse is very favorable for the Lurching Corpse in those scenarios.
You want to clear my board? Well, you're going to have to clear your own too. And then right back at it with another Skull Ring.
Yep, and this time is the turn before Ector.
This might prompt another Cassiopeia play.
Hey, let's play.
Okay, back to the Venus game plan, or rather the Brambles game plan.
Hey, let's play.
Not going to be able to clear out very many followers with this game plan, though. Not this turn, anyway.
I do think it's kind of okay. You have the Elf Queen to kind of bring you back if a big Ector turn comes down. And you also set up kind of better future turns, right?
That is true. Every turn after this, well, at least for one turn, unless, an Airbound Barrage or something comes off the top. That would have Brambles.
Okay, we'll see what Leca's choice is. To my brain right now, assuming that the card draw goes normally, I feel like DV8 is in a pretty good spot.
DV8 is, but again, without having any late game actually finishers yet,
Yeah.
I feel like Leca, he's going to get to 10 play points with more threats. Like, he's already got 2 Ektars, he's got the Aisha, he's continuing to fill this board out turn after turn after turn.
My wings are killing me.
Man, another Lyriel Evolve. It's doing so well to keep afloat of the Wood of Brambles.
However, with no Prince Catacomb play and no Ektar big spikes from damage, this Cassiopeia can come down, clear the board pretty easily.
And again, reset the scenario. Filling up cards in hand is really, really good for Cassiopeia. Still has Evolution Orbs remaining too, so that's kind of nice, especially because DV8 hasn't actually pushed any face damage so far.
Right. That's a big thing too. Like you said, DV8, he might not have a lot of his endgame, but being at 18 still, having the Elf Queen in hand, there's a lot of security there. Still
Now
not
setting
clearing
up the
full boards here.
setting up the Venus here, and I think that's important. Again, there's a few things that DV8 needs to solve, right? A few holes in the ship that need to be plugged up.
Won't be long now.
Leaving these big wide boards, though, is kind of scaring me turn after turn. It's kind of like he's kind of begging Ektar to come at him.
Maybe that is DV8's plan. Play the Ektar, clear the board, and then heal up.
Could be. I don't think that LECA should... Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think he can afford another chance to not, throw damage in when he can.
Please love me.
Oh, man, that's a lot of damage.
Yeah.
That's a lot of damage. It's still a full heal. And you can play things like the Insect Lord alongside.
Yeah. It's a
Lost
full
the
heal,
Brambles.
but no Evolution Orb left either. Bramble's gone. Can't play the White Wolf here. I mean, you can, but then you'll lose.
You're an intruder.
Air, not a bad option either.
Get out of my
Maybe he's
sight.
just trying to be like, all right, throw as many Ektars at me as you want to, and then I'll Elf Queen.
Hey, let's
Yeah.
go
And then I'm
angry.
just going to win the game.
Hey, let's play.
Much a similar game as we saw last game, with DV8 being at 11, the Forestcraft player being at 11, right around Aisha territory, but LECA does not have the board to force through damage.
Yeah. And this time DV8 is being very patient with the Elf Queen, right? As opposed to where LECA just kind of
Exactly.
used it.
He didn't try to tempo push. He didn't try to get some extra damage on LECA early. He's just playing very controlling game plan. I feel like the much better way to do this. Still has the Jungle Warden to kind of press the attack if he wants to. White Wolf in hand now. And yeah, Elf Queen to just be like, I don't care what you did. You finally got me low. But now I'm not.
You're breathing too loud.
So good.
The 50-50. Nope.
Oh, man.
Yup.
Oh, man. There's no way to throw the White Wolf in yet.
There's actually no way to even take care of this Aaron anymore.
Yeah.
Bunch of free damage.
He has a Jungle Warden, too, so this is 6 plus 8.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure the Jungle Warden is going to be the play here. It is the safest. Well, Airbound Barrage changes some things. That gives you a little bit more flexibility on what you can do this turn.
You can swing with the air and airbound the Aaron and then
Yeah.
get an Evolution Orb back.
It's like
Oh, wow. That feels... Did you just lose?
Quiet.
Oh, no. Okay.
Second Lord comes down.
It's... wow.
You could actually.
That's... What? There's
Well,
way
no,
to
no,
get
no.
past the
Even
ward,
even
yeah.
if the one damage would have hit on the Aaron, you still need to trade the follower you have in play. So
Yeah.
he is making this game a little bit harder for himself than he needs to, but I think he is still set up to win next turn.
Yeah. There
can play the
wasn't
Jungle
enough
Warden,
to take down
Plus
the ward.
the elephant.
This head can't
Yep.
be taken.
Dang. Okay. How much damage is this elephant going to do? He's going to pull 2 cards. It's going to put him at 9?
Well, also you get to play the
7.
Jungle Warden, which creates 2 cards, and then you get to bounce them both.
Oh, that's
and then
right,
It gets
yeah,
pumped,
'cause
and then you
it's
get to
0
attack.
cost.
It's more than
Yep.
enough damage. Yeah.
Yep,
This is
there
one
it
of the
is.
best endgame plays here.
8 damage, plus the elephant down. Bounces the 2 wardens back. Another 8, and DV8 will take the victory, putting Disasterverse CPV at 1-1.
That's right.
And DV8 is going to move on, and that means that the next fight is going to be, in the next stage of the tournament, is going to be Fantasy versus DV8, which is round 2 of
That's
the
right.
CPV versus
That's
Disaster.
right. And this is really cool. So DV8, he's been a competitive player for a long time. Never really had the chance to like get his name up there.